Shut up and sit down.
Discovered by the Germans in 1904, they named it San Diego.
What you talking about, Willis?
And also my mom thinks I'm a baby, so I can't walk to school sometimes. And also she thinks I need protective gear when I need to ride a bike.
You probably do. I think I agree with your mom.
I know how to ride a bike already, even without protective gear.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Is he an athlete, your dad?
Yeah, my dad was an athlete, but now he's pretty fat. he used to eat like 2 liters of ice cream every single night, like of those Murray salted caramel ones. And then he used to get really angry at Mum because Mum didn't always buy it for him.
Yeah.
But when Dad got really angry, Mum started buying it for him all the time.
Yeah.
And then he had to suck his gut in for photos. It was really funny.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
And now, your hosts, Matt Lee Grand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von Turing.
Hi, and welcome back to the Dial Podcast. Thank you for checking in with us yet again. Today, I am here with, in person, Evan Price.
How's it going?
Good. Mr. Lance Hepler.
Lance No Pants in the house.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Hey,
wait.
That's
no.
because Matt's not
Oh,
here.
no.
That's because Matt's not here. That's why I've got no pants on.
Too much info.
And this week, we've got Matt on location. I don't even know what that means. He's not on location for any reason. We just like to say it because it sounds cool. But Matt, where are you? How you doing?
I am in Michigan. I am in a small town called Ionia, Michigan. Get out your maps, folks.
Very cool.
Throw a dart.
Yeah.
It's
And today we've got another guest on the phone. We have Steve Remy with Red Truck. How you doing, Steve?
Pretty awesome, man. Pretty awesome.
Good. Thanks for coming on the show today. It's going to be fun chatting with you today. Steve's going to hang out with us and talk about a couple things he's got going on as well. So before we get back into our show here with the little backpedal we like to do every week, Steve, tell us about you and what you got going on.
Yeah, so, man, it's been a while. I'll probably say in the last, year and a half, I took about a year and a half off and got hooked up with Michael Bergman. He's an ex VP of one of the VPs of Nike. He's a big executive there, and he for like 30 years. And he approached me about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years now, about this Red Truck idea and creating a new marketplace for athletes to sell their gear, to tell their stories. And just a much better trusted marketplace than what we have out there. And so we started to work on that, started to build that, and then we got some funding and launched it. We're like on our 3rd version coming up right now. And so we're getting some big brands on board. We're getting some athletes to start selling their gear. We've got a great media gal, Jeanette Faber. She's a ex-pro marathoner, like a 2:30 marathoner.
Wow.
She tells some great stories. She's just a fantastic writer. So I've been hooking her up with some of the pro athletes and to get kind of the different stories out there that the athletes have. So we're kind of like creating just a good kind of ecosystem for athletes to sell their gear, tell their stories, and connect with other people.
Yeah, I've really been I've been keeping tabs on this ever since you basically brought the thing to all of us, I guess. You put it up on some social media and said, "Hey, check this out." Went in there, I'm like, you know what? That's actually a really cool concept. And if you go to Red Truck, just like it sounds.com, you can see a little bit more about it. So basically, if you're an athlete and you want to sell some of your gear, how do they connect with you? What is it that they need to do to get the ball rolling with you?
Yeah, right now, the big thing with us is that we're incorporating foundations and causes into this. So every gear that is sold, everything that is sold, at least 5% goes towards a charity or a cause. You could pick your charity, a cause. There's a lot of sites out there that give you like, do you want to give to this? We make it mandatory. So that's the difference between us. We work a lot with causes. You could choose your own cause. If you've got $1,000 bike, and you want to, you want to give it a new home to someone else, We're creating, a trusted marketplace. They could go onto the site. There's a list me, or there's a list my gear now. Click that and answer a couple of questions. It uploads everything. We look at it, send you a quick, send you a quick email. Thank you. We just make sure the listing looks great and then kind of in line with our brand and kind of what we're doing. There are some great little informational videos on there that tells you how to take good pictures if you're actually going to list some gear that Jeanette made, which is phenomenal. So it's pretty easy. We're moving into our phase 3 coming up at the end of June. The whole going to have a whole different look on the website. We're moving pretty fast as we go. We're getting some big brands on board that want to donate bikes. We just got done with you've heard of the Belgian waffle ride, right? The
Correct.
folks down there.
Yeah, world famous.
So, so we just got done with that. We got 4 bikes donated from Canyon that we've got the ability to do auctions and raffles as well. So we auctioned off 4 bikes for Canyon. The proceeds went to the Challenge Athletes Foundation.
Oh, nice.
So that's our, when you tie in the athlete, their gear, the foundation, and their stories, that's the foundation of the company. So, and just building off of that. So, but we are moving into pretty soon. You'll be able to go on and just load your own gear, and it'll just load automatically. We have to approve it because we want to make sure that we're getting good quality gear. Someone's not loading a bike that they found underneath the bridge or something like that.
Right.
Oh, how do you guys manage I don't know. Are the bikes inspected? How about the packing process and the shipping process? How does that get handled?
Yeah, so we got a pretty awesome process. Right now we're working with VeloFix, and so a lot of times when there's a lot of people that don't know how to build bikes or put bikes together. So is what we do. We work with VeloFix. If bikes are donated, they're usually checked out. We usually send them to a VeloFix because there's a VeloFix like almost everywhere in the United States now, right? So a guy will come we've got a red truck 10-point inspection that just makes sure that everything's right. If it's a carbon bike, there's no cracks in it. It's a good solid bike. We've actually got a couple of videos already that we did with people donating bikes that we sent over to VeloFix. They fixed them up, cleaned them up, and then put in a certificate as well.
Very cool.
And also too, we're working with local bike shops. We've got one local that actually, Tritech Bikes, which is Dylan right here in Portland. He kind of worked with us on creating the process. So the buyer actually gets like a printed checkoff list signed by a mechanic in the box when it's shipped to them.
That's very good.
That's pretty
cool.
Good peace of mind.
Steve, what sports would you say you guys are focusing on right now? Do you have a few you're focusing on, or are you pretty open to any group of athletes that have gear that they would like to go through you with?
Well, right now, since we started, we're just focusing on cycling, but we've also got some other vertical sports coming down the line. Not vertical as in height, but just different sports. We've got golf coming down the line pretty soon. We've got a pretty good connection with PGA, someone in the PGA that works with drivers that the pros have tested and this and that. And then, usually these things just sit around in warehouses. So, part of our concept is people have stuff laying around.
Yep.
In the garage or wherever it may be. If it's a brand, they have them they've got demos and back stock just sitting in the back doing nothing, right? So we come in, create this ecosystem to where, we could tell stories about the brands, just tell stories about the equipment, but we're working with golf. We've actually got a tie-in with NASCAR right now. So some interesting things are happening there, but we're not just going to be cycling. We're going to be all sports.
So Evan can hit you up when he's ready to sell his Speedos.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah. Use Speedos.
We'll talk about
optional. Okay, maybe not.
Well, that's all good stuff.
That might be a private auction.
Okay, yeah. I'd be fine with that.
And one last question before we move forward here. What are some of the charities? What are some of the bigger charities that you guys have been working with?
Yeah, so we just wrote a pretty big check to Challenge Athletes Foundation that has been kind of a big stay with us since we started. but we're moving into all kinds of World Bicycle Relief. We've got a lot of the brands are starting to choose their own foundations that they have in order to give. We've got I won't say it because it'll probably get bleeped on here, but there's a big team down in Southern California. I don't know if you heard them, but it's the F Cancer team down there.
Okay.
It's the F Cancer
yeah.
triathlon team.
Yep.
And they just started down there. And Jason Williams down there, he just started this team like back in August, and it's already got 400 plus members around the world. And he had to shut down like bringing people on because it's just him right now. And it's growing like people. It's so big. So so he's going to be part of. We're moving in and helping him as a team. We've got the Tunica Humane Society. And there's just a huge list of people, but anyone could choose a foundation that they love, and we'll add them for you. So we've got Shannon here in town. Shannon's one of our big triathletes, and she's just an amazing athlete. She works with Team Fox, which is the Michael J. Fox Foundation. She does a lot of triathlons with the Timex team. So
good. That's good stuff.
Yeah, there's no foundation that we won't take and put up there for you.
Very cool. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go through a weekly backpedal real quick. I'm going to start with you, Lance, because you don't look like you're ready. I'm going to put you on the spot. How was your week, Lance?
Well, my week was gloriously fantastic. Which story do you want to hear?
Oh my gosh.
Well, let's just talk about like
over here.
Last time we talked to you, you were in Moab. How did that wrap up? And you just got back just a few days ago, correct?
I did. I spent a few more days down there in Moab. I had a couple of just fantastic rides down there and a couple of great hikes. I did a 10-mile hike with my daughter and some of her friends, and took the dog along, who ran like 30 miles while we were walking through this creek. And so it was just fantastic. Spent a couple days down there riding. I did some mountain biking. I did some road riding. I had to get back because it was my youngest daughter's final high school performance.
Yes.
Waterworks.
Yes.
So many waterworks.
So I did have to stop. I stopped in Ogden for a day to do another kind of classic mountain bike ride around Snow Basin Resort with a buddy. Yes. And I had a business meeting in Ogden too. I'm still trying to make some money.
It's a beautiful place.
I'm looking at a picture right now of Lance at Snow Basin Resort. Please go look at his Facebook if you haven't seen this picture. He's just looking so photogenic. This is unreal.
Real quick, Lance, remind us what your Instagram user handle is.
It's at Dr. Hep, at DRHEPP. That's my Instagram handle.
And when you go there, you will see Lance provoking us with all of these pictures. It's like a big giant middle finger to everybody saying,
it is.
Ha.
It's look at I like the road picture of the saddle right in line with the must have been a busy road there.
There
Lance.
was nobody on that road. Yeah.
It's like, just look at me in all my glory.
Exactly,
this is awesome.
exactly what this picture says.
Please go follow me and like my pictures, because my personal self-worth is tied to how many likes I get. So.
Reasonable.
So yeah, I had a great week, and then I made it back in time to see my daughter's last two high school performances, and she was
she killing it?
But just fantastic. I'm just
Last two ever,
because she's a senior.
How were the waterworks, Lance?
Oh yeah, I broke up. So I'm not going to tell that story again.
Well, I mean, it never gets old.
Several
it never
more
gets
times.
old for me.
Lance, how long did you get before the crying started?
I have to like hide my head, Matt, and put it down. Now that my daughter has listened to this podcast,
I'm so glad that the Hepler
She's
family's
like,
listening to
"Hey,
us.
Dad, did you cry tonight?" Like, shut up. Yes. Right.
Has your son come to accept your nicknames yet, or is he still?
No, he
he
is
still
in
not a fan?
denial about Lance Romance.
We'll have to
and
bring
No
him
Pants
on.
Lance.
We'll have to bring him on here at some point and have this discussion.
So if you're the Batman, he's going to have to be the Robin, the psychic. We've got to give him a little psychic name to go along with you.
You know, I should say my 22-year-old son is a lot funnier than I am. He is a riot.
We gotta bring him on. We gotta bring him on. There.
Hilarious. He's a fun kid to have around.
Yeah,
so.
we'll have to bring him on.
Hey, Lance, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I know that I took a year and a half off and coming back and gained a bunch of weight, and I know that you were posting at the beginning of the year. I was watching you that you had your fair share of gain as well.
Yeah.
So how are you doing on that now? Are you coming down?
I am. We've talked about it a little bit on some previous podcasts.
He's looking trim.
Yeah, I was. I'm
so
I'm
sexy.
I'm 5'10". Actually, I should clarify that. I'm like 5'9" and a half, but I tell everybody I'm 5'10", so because it feels better.
Because it's two numbers instead of one
That's
number.
right. So
Hey, you can fudge.
5'10". In January, I was 230. And I'm 185 today.
Wow. Huge.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I've taken some weight off, and it has been through determination and focus to
making
do
these
that.
these awesome pictures he takes are well earned pictures. It's not like he's driving to these points and taking them. He's riding his bike to all these pictures.
So I've got a challenge for you.
What's that?
Okay, so right now I'm doing a Remy 30 and 90. So I'm losing 30 pounds in 90 days. I'm coming up on my first 30, and proceeds are going. People are donating to this cause, and the proceeds go to World Bicycle Relief.
Okay.
So how much more do you want to lose?
I really shouldn't lose a whole lot more, actually.
It sounds like you can.
We
Do you
can
want
go
to get in
strong
racing
per
shape,
pound.
or you want to get in
We
like,
can make it like a larger thing per pound.
My wife doesn't like me when I'm like below 175
Super skinny?
10
Yes,
pounds.
yeah. She thinks I look too freaky. So
She wants something to hold on to.
that's
Your
right.
wife would.
That's right.
Your wife would not be
So,
a fan of me.
Lance, if you were like 170 with shaved legs, what would your wife? How would your
Oh
wife-
yeah, I'd sleep on the couch, or I'd be off on another trip.
There would be
with the
no
dog.
more Lance
Okay,
Romance.
then maybe we'll wait till next winter to do the challenge.
Maybe that'd be better.
That's fun. Hey, Matt, you're in Michigan. What's going on, dude? What's going on with you in this past week? What are you doing out there? We miss
Family
you.
trip to Michigan,
Uh-huh.
and I did bring some biking stuff out here. And what's fantastic is, I mentioned my father-in-law before. He's down for biking for sure.
Yep.
And I get to ride his 1989 Lotus 12-speed with down tube shifting.
Yes.
Oh, down to
Which is it's totally awesome.
Hey, it's lighter.
I have yet to post pictures, but I will definitely jump on that and send some photos your guys' way. But yeah, I mean, it's been cool. I'm taking it out tomorrow morning also for a spin, so should be good.
Excellent. And when do you get home, Matt?
I'll be back on Wednesday.
Good. I need my lunch riding partner back. Good.
Yeah,
full
definitely.
Michigan report next week. We got to talk some Ohio Michigan like rivalry stuff here. I love that
Okay.
state though, Matt.
Absolutely.
Michigan's beautiful. It really is.
Yeah. Evan, how was your past
Yeah, it
week?
doesn't-
Oh, sorry, I cut you off. Matt,
That's
tell
okay.
us
I was
more
gonna say I
about you,
haven't
Matt.
been
Tell us more
finding
about you. What's up?
I'm boring. I'd much rather hear about Matt right now.
Yeah. No, Evan, you're just heads down training or what?
I missed you at Fallen Leaf today. Swam. I was telling you before the podcast, the buoys are still there. So I'm going to bring up a controversial topic here because we have some people here, Matt and Lance, I'm not throwing out names, that said it's reasonable that people are complaining that their wedding pictures have the buoys in the background. That to me, now I know I'm not a married man here, but that to me is ridiculous.
Have you ever dealt
That
with
is-
a like
that
freaked
is
out psycho
ridiculous.
bride?
I have never dealt with that, and I
Well,
hope
that's
that I never
why.
have to.
Buoys in the background.
Are you kidding? It's that would be like Photoshop 101. It is an orange buoy, and it's like like so small in the back of the picture. Or you just move somebody in front of it during the picture.
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, come on. How else am I supposed to know that I just swam 1K if we're not ruining your wedding pictures?
I just want to see you in some wedding picture.
That would be
like you just like cranking
Someday,
out,
Evan.
I'm like
flailing arms,
like
with splashing
awkwardly
water all
I'm like
over the
awkwardly
brooms,
putting
then
on
possible.
my wetsuit in the back of some wedding picture.
So when somebody's getting married there, and I'm sure that people listening to this, and we have people listening in Norway now. Hey, people
Yeah.
from Norway.
Hello, Norway.
I'm like,
huge in
we don't
Norway.
really care about Fallen Leaf Lake, but is it okay for you to go swimming there if there's a wedding, or are you completely kicked out?
No. I mean, like if there's a wedding there, no, I'm pretty sure.
Now, is that an etiquette thing?
So there's some people who will slip in the back side. I
Yeah.
probably shouldn't even be saying this on this podcast because now they're going to be looking for that. But there's a sneaky way to get in if it's like a reserved park. I'm not sure how often it's reserved for weddings. Matt, how often would you say it's reserved for weddings?
Well, we don't know what it's reserved for. We just know that it's reserved, and it's reserved almost every weekend throughout the summer. So
Okay, so we got to be sneaky. Or Monday. Well, Monday's not a weekend, right? So I'll just go on Monday.
no, we just use your Mondays. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, it's basically this like nice little. I mean, pond is probably the better word to call it, right, Matt? It's a big pond.
Yeah.
It's a big pond, but it's great for open water
Our route is
swimming.
1,000 meters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just this great. So I mean, if they take those buoys away, I'm gonna climb a tree and protest or something. I don't know. I'm gonna wade water in the middle until they put them back.
I like that.
Anything else, Matt? Before I step on your your back pedal again.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Okay.
Feel free to step away.
All right.
So much stepping.
Oh man, bull in a china shop here. Evan, how was your week, man?
That was pretty. Just head down training right now, but been doing some fun stuff on the side. The running program at our clinic is just growing, and we're getting busy. And I'm getting to treat the population I like to treat, which is just a bunch of endurance athletes. You're all crazy, but you make my day. So
I've heard my wife's running group. She's got about a dozen people that want to sign up and come to see you.
Yeah.
They're just trying to work out the logistics.
yeah,
That's very cool.
we're gonna work out some logistics here. Maybe do it out of Movement Revolution. So I was just talking to Robbie today. So we're gonna see what's the best location to get everybody, because I want to do as many people at once. But yeah, it's good. I just like talking about running and endurance sports. So anybody wants to like sign me on for an in-service, I'll do it for free. I just want to talk about it. So
Cool.
yeah.
Steve, how was your week, man?
Yes, sir.
What you got coming up too? You've got I'm sure you got a lot of packing going
I
on.
just got back from a Cali trip, and I'm here for about a week and a half. I've been here about a week and a half, and I leave on Thursday again for about a 3-week trip now. So just kind of spreading the word, heading down to California. You know, we're a big sponsor of Monster Media Racing. So,
Yep.
so we're actually taking our new red truck van that we call Red.
Yep.
No way. That's clever, right?
We're taking Red down to Cali and picking up a lot of the Monster Media bikes and heading to Tulsa Tough. So I don't know if you guys have seen that race or been there, but is that
a gravel grinding race? What is that?
No, it is a insane weekend of racing. It's like 10,000 people each day.
Oh my gosh.
There's one race on Sunday, and it has this famous hill called like Crybaby Hill, and it's a circuit crit.
No, thank you.
And this hill, you get hundreds and hundreds of the local people come out and stand on this hill, and it's like the Tour de France.
Oh, that's awesome.
On this hill. You have you have people that have signed up to be referees to clear the path when the cyclists are coming. It's insane.
That's
if you guys
cool.
haven't seen the video of it, you have to see it. But
I'm gonna look that
it's
up.
also going to be broadcasted on USACrits.tv, I believe.
Huh.
But it's always broadcasted. It's always streamed live, so it's pretty awesome. So Monster Media, Phil Tinsman has won he won it last year. He won the overall the year before. So we have a pretty huge. We got Michael Olheiser on the team now. So he's a 3-time world champion. Was racing on Chris Horner's team 2 years ago. That team that he was on here. So it's going to be. And then from there, I come back, drop off all the bikes, hit a couple races, and then back up to Oregon.
Will you be racing when you're out there? Will you be doing a couple trips of Crybaby?
I think for one of the races, I think I'm still a little bit too heavy. For one of them, I think I might be okay. So we'll just have to see.
Very cool. Well, I look forward to hearing about it.
I just started literally training about 30 days ago. So
Was it Lupus Racing Team?
yes,
Steve Lupus.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. Right on. Well, I had anything else, Steve? Otherwise, I'll kind of get into me here real quick.
Yeah, actually, I do want to throw something out.
Go for it.
So we are Red Truck is starting a ambassador program with some high profile athletes next year. We're working on it now, but one of our athletes, Lily Williams, just won the Winston-Salem race today, the women's race. So that was pretty awesome. Just want to give a big shout out to her against all the top women pro teams. So
That's
I don't know if
great.
you guys watched that on the live stream, but it was a pretty awesome race, and she beat out one of the Astana girls by like 2 inches.
Wow.
So it was pretty awesome. If you guys aren't watching that series on the streaming, you have to, because it's just really, really great racing out there.
Where's the easiest place to find it streaming, Steve?
usacrits.tv.
Okay.
So check that out. I didn't even know there was such a thing, and I do now.
yeah.
And
You can find some of that stuff on Steep Hill too, but I think it's got to be like I'm not sure how much they cover Continental wise. Yeah,
Gotcha.
but we love to hear whenever
USA Crits
Astana's
is
getting
the most
beaten.
continental stuff.
Yeah. As long as Astana's getting beaten, we're all happy. So
Right.
You need to support Lance Romance on that team. That's what you
Really?
need. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm huge in the Czech Republic.
that is
yeah.
and Norway.
Yeah, one thing,
Or is
one
Matt
thing
big in
too,
Norway?
Jake, what I want to do shout out is that, I remember when you moved up here a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, and you were looking, I just wanted to say that it's pretty impressive for what you've done and what you created. I know that you came on to Monster Media and raced with us for a year, and then you expressed wanting to, do kind of your own thing. And I will say that it's pretty awesome to see what you've grown and see what you've done and the people that you've collected. Being a part of Obra now, I think that's an awesome thing. And so I just wanted to thank you just for, everything that you've done in the cycling community here in Oregon has been nothing but positive, and it's been pretty awesome. So thank you for that.
I take that as a big compliment coming from you, Steve. Really appreciate that. It's been a lot of fun, though.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So how was your week, Jake?
My week?
How's the hip? Let's address that.
You know what? The swelling has gone down. There's still a little bit of discomfort there, but the hip feels pretty good. I actually
the ribs was the other. Yeah.
It's the ribs that are bugging me, and that
yeah.
was what my limiting factor was all week. And then yesterday there was a little segment that all the stars aligned. I'm like, I'm going to go for this.
Yeah.
And it's a segment I've been chasing on Strava for about 2.5 years now, and I took it. I was like,
oh wow,
maybe the ribs are coming. It was only like 45 seconds or something.
You need
like
to get a couple more rib torsions. Maybe that gave you that 2 or 3 watt average.
So
25 seconds?
No, about 45 seconds. I think I held
Where is it?
I'm not telling you because I know what kind of watch you can throw down.
That
Steve.
just gave Steve's motivation that he needed right there.
Yeah. So, but long story short, it was kind of a nice week to get back on the bike and start an ease thing. It was not comfortable, and I actually went into the dock and had some things looked at, but and I'm going to be working on getting it set back into place. But it's one of those times where it needs to go away because I got to get back to training. We've got, what is about 2.5 weeks or so before the state championships, and I am wanting to be back out there. I got to get my fitness kind of rounded back into shape, and I got to get this pain to go away because I want to go out there and have a good result and go out there and support the team and figure that, if now's the time, and I have to get out there and do it. So hopefully this next week will be good.
Be careful not to push it too hard, because if you do, trust me, I did that in 2016. I crashed in a pro race and I pushed it too hard coming back, and I got infection on my hip.
Oh boy.
And it took, it pretty much killed my season because I tried to come back too fast. So just be careful, Jake.
I got all the road rashes pretty much all healed up. I mean,
that's good.
Tegaderm is worth its weight in gold. That stuff is magical. I'm
Absolutely.
not kidding. I mean, I've used it for many years.
Should have bought stock in that years ago.
Yeah. But all the road rashes, it's gone. I don't have any more open wounds on me, or at least I don't think I do.
That's great.
It's just dealing with some ribs that are out of place, and then a bone bruise on my pelvis that's pretty nasty. We had that. I don't know if you saw the crash footage, but the P12 race at Cherry Pie a couple weekends ago. I got mixed up in that and hit somebody going almost 35 miles an hour, flew over the bars. That wasn't a pretty sight, but got back on the bike, finished the race, and went and licked my wounds, and have been doing so for the last 2 weeks and change. So But
so we've got 2.5 weeks to state championship,
yeah,
right? Okay, yeah.
And I don't know if I'll have the fitness or the legs to basically go after it for myself, but we've got some strong teammates, and our 40s group is pretty damn strong. So I want to go out there and support the best possible guy. And if I can, whatever I can throw at it, I want to be able to do that. And I just need to be able to show up.
You're not going to race this next
weekend,
weekend,
road race?
Yeah, it's the Silverton State Championship road race.
Okay.
So that's on June 16th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So
we got to make sure Jake's ready to go.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into our first topic. Our first topic today is how we all of us here on this discussion today, how we stay consistent with our training, with our nutrition, with racing, etc., and basically how we also combat distractions and temptations and unruly schedules and things of that nature, so that we can stay consistent. So I wanted to bring this up because there's a lot of people that are going to be coming into the race season here for like the short track racing season, and there's a lot of people are starting to get ready for cyclocross training, and there's people coming off of road racing, and there's just like there's change right now, and so I want to help people try and stay consistent. So I figured we could bring that up, and we've got some great people sitting here that have done a lot of great work in their time, and I want to know, how do you guys stay consistent? Let's start with you, Lance. You got anything that you use?
You know what? When I have a big race on the schedule, I definitely try to have a training plan set for 2 or 3 months with daily workouts that I put into the plan. And I usually have a coach that gives me some instruction and makes me accountable. You've got to be accountable.
What's your relationship with your coach? Are you the type of guy where he's like, okay, do these types of workouts, your creative autonomy on the workouts, or are you like, whatever the coach tells me I'm going to do no matter what?
I found early on in my not only athletic but business career that the more coachable you are, the more successful you would be.
Oh, God, I could take that advice.
So I would do what my coaches told me to do. I would really try to do what my coaches to do. Yeah. Having said that, I've had no coach or no plan for like the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So I have just basically trained and raced on
was
field.
that more true for you though when you were a decathlete and that coach is there every day?
I could not have done any of that without a coach.
Yeah, and so that's ingrained. But your coach was
me.
there. The difference in today's world with the cycling triathlon coaches, obviously, sometimes your coach is a dude in New York,
right?
Or a dude,
an
who's not
or a
seeing
phone
you,
call.
who's not seeing you at the track every day. So
yeah, most of the coaches I've had in cycling or triathlon have all been off-site.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. And some of them are great guys out there. I mean, they're really good. But yeah, it's harder to find, I think, somebody who's able to have that touch. Yeah.
But I was always much more consistent if I actually had a plan that actually went in my calendar and I had a coach that I was accountable to. So I think that's good advice, even though I haven't done that for the last couple of years.
How about you, Matt? You kind of play both sides of the coin. You coach kids, and you were probably coached as well. What are some of your tips?
Well, I mean, I'll probably repeat some of what Lance said, and that's just like when you have that big race to train for, like actually when you write it down, and it doesn't have to be like, I mean, it can be pen and paper, whatever it is, but like having this, for me, I like stretch out, either a digital calendar or whatever it is, like month by month towards this race and what I want to do. And it's pretty easy if you start with a race and you work backwards. You basically know it's like, okay, well, you have this race. Okay, so it's, you could be like the state road championships. The date of that's not going to change, right? Like that's the date. And then, like 3 weeks prior to that, you need to be doing certain workouts. And so it's pretty easy to kind of like work backwards from that particular race. You know that you need to be hitting certain workouts at certain times. And so it makes it, more and more difficult to skip stuff. And then some of the things like, let's say you're off visiting the in-laws in Ionia, Michigan, you can kind of plan for those breaks where it's like, this is I start to have a little few things here and there that are a little bit out of control. And you kind of just can accommodate those trips.
So I'm going to interject here and play devil's advocate for both of you, because I'm hearing two type A personalities with training, which is good because Lance and Matt are
Wait
both.
till you hear mine.
Oh, good. So I wonder if me and Steve will be on the same page, or if Steve's even more type A. But so we got Matt and Lance are both very successful endurance athletes in the way that they've approached it. When I was growing up, I was around a guy who I respected a lot. His name was Dan Payton, and he was a cyclist and a triathlete in Dayton, Ohio, which I know to all of you is like, there are endurance athletes in Dayton, Ohio. It's barely a city, but there are a lot of great athletes in that city. So this was a guy I looked up to growing up, and he used to train. Very busy guy. He owned his own plumbing company and was always busy. He would train by when he got up that morning, depending on how he felt. He would choose what he was going to do. He would do it, get done with his workday, and if he had the legs, he would go and do another workout. And he repeated that every single day and was wildly successful.
Totally by feel.
And I'll tell you what.
Listen to your body.
I think
And Steve, I think,
okay.
yeah, and I think Matt, you would agree to some extent. That's good. I think it depends on the athlete, because I know for me, like I trained that way for years. Like I would wake up, and if I felt good, I would ride the bike as long and as hard as I could, and then jump off. And if I had the legs, I'd run. And I mean, I would do it with a Timex watch, like literally a Timex. I didn't even know how long I was going. I would just run for like an hour, and if it was good, it was like 5 minutes up, 5 minutes down, 5 minutes. Just like make up workouts as I went, and it worked for that time period. Now, can I do that now? Yeah. Probably not. But I mean, there was a time period where that worked.
Yeah, and I think you can kind of do both, right? Like I almost think you should be doing both, right? Like you should always wake up and listen to your body like, holy crap, I'm super sore. Like I need to make, and this is probably where Lance and I disagree, where he's like, nope, coach says do this, I'm going to go off the door and do it. Right. Like, yeah. And I'm definitely like, oh, I wake up and, oh, I drank too much beer last night. Like, okay,
Lance has never had that problem for the record.
Hopefully it's not for the wrong reasons, but sometimes it is. So, I think, for me right now, like this trip has been a nightmare, right? Where it's like absolutely brutally hot here. I'm going to get out for a couple bike rides. Haven't been able to swim at all because haven't been able to go to like a lap, swim pool and stuff like that. So been able to run a little bit, but it's been pretty hot. Very little biking, right? And I'm not biking on a super comfortable bike. So it's kind of like, okay, not ideal, but we'll make the most of it and, we'll roll with it. And, when you wake up each day and you kind of see how you feel and if you feel okay, you keep doing more. So,
and that's,
you can do both.
And I think, there's definitely a middle ground, I would say, but I think it also like depends on the like somebody like Lance, who at least from what we know with your business success and everything you've done there, you seem to be a person that like thrives off that like step-by-step process of like putting in the work every day and keeping it consistent. Yeah. I think there's also like another athlete that comes from that same work ethic, but does it a different way, where it's like, I'm going to truly listen to like whatever I think I can do today, I'm going to do, and not like, whatever's written on the paper. Both ways can be successful. I mean, you could hear a million pro stories on both sides of guys at the top of their game. I mean, I know I heard a story about Thibaut Pinot, it was Pierre Roland, who's a professional bike racer on the world tour. And they had said, like, I think until just recently, he didn't have a coach. And he would just go out and ride like they trained in like the 1940s. Like he would just go and like, okay,
that's
Pierre,
right down your alley.
What's your training? What's your training day? I rode 150 miles. I don't know. It's like, what'd you do? I don't know. When the road went up, I went hard, and when it wasn't, I didn't go hard. And that was his training day. And he'd ride 600-700 mile weeks, and people were like, oh my god, if this guy was training with any specificity, he'd be so fast. But yeah.
How about you, Steve?
I got a great story about all that. And, my days go back to when, I was racing back 23 years ago, and Steve Haig was my training partner. We would meet up and on Wednesday rides, go do about 125-mile rides. And then within that, he would chase me down Pacific Coast Highway. He'd give me like a 5-minute head start. I'd always lose.
That's pretty big name chasing you. That's not bad.
Those were the days that, Horner, we were racing with Horner. One of the last races I raced with Horner, Horner and I were in a crit. We lapped the field. And those were the days back when we trained like it was the old mentality of just putting in the miles, right? And the hard part for me is switching that mentality. I have a coach now, and he's a great coach. And it's been really hard to switch that mentality for me because I still have that. Sometimes it's it's that more is better, and that it's gotten. I've just now started to make that turn where I put in more quality and more harder. So if you look at some of my rides now, just a ride I did today, I called it a bit of everything, right? Threw in a couple hard sprints there, climbed hard wasn't a long one, but I did it a pretty hard ride. So for me, it's learning how to, I would say, going back to what you guys were talking about listening to your body, and especially the older that we get, it takes longer to recover.
Yep.
Right. I mean,
unfortunately,
I've got, I got to look back in the day where I remember we could do, 3-4 days of 100 miles plus. And then now it's like, I just went hard an hour and a half last night. I need to rest the next day.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be hard for you too, because you've had kind of a storied past. I mean, you've won some pretty damn big races in your day. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were a state champion too, crit racer, correct?
Yeah, a long time ago.
So, but I mean, you had a lot of success with that training program. So it's got to be hard for you to make that change or to have that paradigm shift in your life. And it's good to hear that you're making some changes and it's actually working for you.
Yeah, you just need to. I would say the best thing is just really everybody is different. And I have a great coach that works for Source Endurance. His name is Matt Hill. He's actually up in Seattle. He does a lot of, he's like used to work with Greg LeMond. He works a lot in people that do cyclocross. And so he's kind of helped me, he's been patient with me. I'm the kind of rider, I'm an emotional rider, right? So I may feel like and I may feel one day, I get out there. I'm not the kind of rider where I'm just like head down. I got to go train. If it's an ugly day out and I'm having a bad day, sometimes I don't ride. I have a hard time getting on the trainer. But if it's a beautiful day, I love to get out there and explore. And so he's working with me, and it's a process. I'll say that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Gotcha. Steve, would you say? What advice would you give, people coming out of those years of their lives where they're more, competitive racing and going into those years where it's, obviously you have a lot of things outside of racing going on in your life now, and just kind of balancing that expectation of results along with, obviously for you, like everything that Red Truck entails and all of that's going on in your life?
I will say, don't force anything. Just let things kind of go. And that's kind of what I took a year and a half off, went through some stuff with an old company that I was working with, put a lot of time and it didn't deliver anything, but some heartache, and, started Red Truck, and it kind of put me back on the right path of kind of being who I love to be. And I didn't, I told myself I could come back when I want to come back. Yeah. And, I would say just be patient. Just be patient and listen to yourself. Don't force anything, because what I told my coach is that I had a hard time when he was giving me these workouts, and I woke up and I felt, I don't want to sound like I was weak or anything, but I just was having a hard time, like emotionally, and going through some depression when it was like raining for 6 months here.
Oh, we've all been there.
Yeah.
And that's hard here. And I'm a Southern California guy. So it's like,
that's rough.
That really beats on me here. And, so I was going through some stuff there, and I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to I told him, I said, I'm having a hard time if I miss a program, or if I miss a day that you have for me, then I feel even worse.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So it's like I just had to step back and just say, you know what, just relax a little bit. Sometimes we're so hard on ourselves about trying to follow the program that we're just not human. We try to be a machine, and we're not a machine. Well, Jake is, but
But even there, it's, we talk about these sports, and some of us who started these, we got a decathlete here who started very young. Jake's been bike racing forever. Matt's been a runner since he was born. I've been doing triathlon and running forever, and there does come that point where you've got to address the mental and emotional health of it too. It's like, you can't do this for 20 years, like grind away consistently. You got to address some of that stuff. So yeah, thanks, Steve. That's great insight there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I tend to find though that we all do go through those moments where it's gray, it's gloomy, it's cold, it's raining, and we just you're over it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to keep stuttering on there, but I find that when you are with like-minded people.
Yep.
And they hate it just as much as you do, but you guys get out there and the old cliche of misery loves company or the adage, that it works. And
that's the brotherhood of cycling right there, and sisterhood.
Exactly. You're not going to get that every day. And usually when it's crappy weather out, like I really do look forward to that one group ride. And if it's 42 degrees and raining and we're going to go out and we're going to knock out 50, 60, 70 miles, I still look forward to that. Even though I know it's going to suck, I look forward to it because you're out there with 8, 10, 12, 15 other people having fun, even if it's just a couple buddies. But I can't, like Steve, there are certain days where I'll look outside and it could be like a Wednesday and I've got to go out and ride at lunchtime and it's just absolute crap weather. And I'm like, I can't do it. So, but thankfully, I mean, I don't mind the trainer that much. And I know that I have to get my work done. So, I mean, there's stuff like Zwift that makes it at least somewhat entertaining. We did our,
that's fun. Zwift has made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
I will say that.
And we did our Tuesday night Zwift rides with the team. And I'm like, I need to put something on the calendar. And this is one of my other points that I'm going to hold myself accountable to, that I know that I'm going to show up and I'm going to do it. Well, I was the one that was orchestrating the whole thing. So I had to be there. No excuses. So, and the first time I did it, I think we had about 10 or 12 people show up online to do this. And I'm not kidding. You can go back and look at my Strava post and it'll say the most fun I've ever had on a trainer. I swear it was an hour and 45 minutes, maybe 2 hours.
That's fantastic.
And it felt like it was 20 minutes. It felt like I was on an outside ride with my friends, and we're all slogging away on our trainers, and we're all seeing each other and chatting with each other and talking with each other on Discord. I'm like, that was really cool. So you've just got to, I don't know, you got to like rework it a little bit and make yourself accountable some way and find friends and training partners to work with so that you can kind of get through
friends
this
are the huge thing here. And Matt, I think you, me, and Lance here will be able to speak to this. Like, that's the thing that's awesome about the cycling world is there's that team aspect that can get you through those days. Because I'll tell you what, Matt, there have been a couple mornings this training block. I look at that pool in the morning. I'm like, what am I doing here? If I have to swim one more lap this morning, I am going to lose my mind. Like it is not nearly as friendly of a world in triathlon, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The only thing I do with water is drink it.
Keep it that way. It's much better.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we all hit on some pretty good points there. Another big thing is, be a part of a team or a club. If you're not going to go out and race, but you're still looking to find fitness, go find a good club. A good local club will hold you accountable, and you'll find those friends out there that will hold you accountable, and they will, if it's a good club, you're running stuff year round. So you can definitely
triathlon, please, people.
So the Dow Triathlon team is taking shape.
We are taking members.
They're actively recruiting and growing. So. But
I had somebody contact me this week. Does Dial have a triathlon club?
Oh, we do.
Yes, they do.
Interesting. You should ask.
Yeah. And then find yourself a good training partner too. Find somebody who is at your level that will go out and train with you and push you a little bit harder than you probably would normally push yourself, and enjoy that. It's fun. You
know the funny saying, like they're like, you should train with somebody a little bit faster than you. Really, when you think about that, that makes no sense because that means that person training with you is training with somebody a little bit slower. So if everybody took that analogy, but you really should try and find somebody just like barely faster than you.
That's every time I ride with Jake.
There you
go. Jake is losing.
Yes, I'm with Steve there. Always find somebody faster. And then if you're the fastest guy, go train by yourself.
Pretty much.
Oh, good stuff. You guys have anything else to add to that list? Anyone? Bueller?
I'm good.
Bueller. Okay, well then we'll move on to topic number 2. This one was inspired by Mr. Lance and his escapades of being all over the place and posting these freaking pictures.
Just gonna look at Lance's pictures while we're talking about
it. Was epic ride after epic ride after epic ride. I'm like, this is killing me. So I want to kind of hit on that subject. And I want to know, for all you guys, what are some epic rides that you've done? And what are some epic rides that are on your bucket list of rides that you guys would like to do in the future before you kick the bucket? Shoot.
Well, let's make this dark.
How about you, Matt? Are you still there?
Yeah. I really want to ride, do some stuff in the Redwoods. I've ridden in Northern California a good bit, but I just really want to go hit up like the redwoods and maybe actually like a ride and then run also, because there's good trails as well. And I don't really love biking on the trails as much as I enjoy running on the trails. So that's high up on my hit list.
Can we do that this fall together, Matt? I would really like to do that with you. Like, that sounds like a lot of fun.
This is the problem with having kids and having jobs.
Can't we just take like a
jobs,
bro trip though? We can't just do a bro trip together.
Hey, I'd be up for that too.
I was there in November. I shouldn't actually speak up. Never mind.
Can I go with Lance?
Are you gonna get in trouble with work?
Oh.
Yeah, so maybe like late fall I could do it after cross country season.
Very cool. How about you, Evan?
I was in Colorado before I moved out here for a little bit. There's 2 rides that come to mind for me. I did a Mount Evans ride. We made it almost to the top of Mount Evans, and then it was like Steve will, like, this is not impressed, Steve. It was like 120-mile day. So my legs were hurting. But we were getting towards the top, and the weather changed real quick up there. And we had to like flip around because up the road there was hail.
Uh-oh.
And it was like chasing us. So we had to flip around and descend. If anybody's ever done like any of those Colorado descents, it's like when you hit the tree line, it's like you're safe.
Yeah.
So is that, Steve, have you done some training out around Colorado where you have to hit the tree lines, like the oxygen just like hits you in the face?
Oh yeah, I lived out in Colorado Springs at the Olympic Training Center. And
Oh,
we did
yeah.
some epic rides out there. Like, it's just there, and
That's incredible. I mean, running away from weather was the most exciting thing I've ever done in my life. Like, that was so much fun. We were tearing down that descent for our lives, and it was awesome. But yeah, we did that, and then we did the Fearsome. Is it the Fearsome 4 or the Fearsome 5? I think it's the Fearsome 4. It's the ride around the Boulder Peaks. There's like, it's like Sunshine Peak, Magnolia. I'm gonna forget the other 2, but
you ever ride up to Estes Park?
We that was another day. We did do a ride out there. The Magnolia, or not Magnolia, it was Sunshine, was the one that has the gravel up towards the top, which was funny because I was riding a 9-speed and I'm weak, so I literally had to walk the bike up a turn while my friends just dropped me and didn't care because they're boulderites and just are all strong. So they're just like, see a kid, and they just see at the top.
Like a 12, 19.
Yeah. I was basically spinning at 20. I think was my
old school block.
Yeah, I was out of the saddle, basically leg pressing every single revolution. But yeah, those are my 2 favorites. And anybody who wants to take me on cool rides out here, I'm open for all future rides. So,
how about you, Steve?
God, you know what? I gotta say that I've done a lot of great rides. I lived in Germany for a while, rode over there in the Black Forest. But I could tell you, I watched. Did you guys watch any of the Tour of Italy?
Absolutely, yeah. I watched all of it.
Man, did you guys watch like the Stage 19?
Yeah.
Yes.
My God, I mean, what an epic! I am not a hill climber by all means, but I would say for my bucket list, that is probably what I want to go do. Probably within the next 3 to 4 years, I want to go do that ride. I want to go do that one.
Just that whole stage would be great. Yeah.
That was just amazing. And what I mean, I wouldn't mind stopping and having a couple beers like every 5 kilometers or something.
I think in Italy they only do glasses of wine. It'd have to be a glass of wine every stop, I think.
Right.
That was like 12,000 feet of climbing, wasn't it? Was it like 12,000 feet that they had in the stage? It was something ridiculous.
And to watch Froome do what he does, I mean, that was just crazy. I mean, I just thought, God, I want to do that.
Definitely I'm
psyched for that,
On my bucket list, I definitely would love to do all these classic climbs in Europe, in France, and Italy. Actually, I should clarify that. I want to do all the classic descents.
I want to drive up the climbs.
I'm going to ride the electric bike to the top, and then I want to do all the classic descents from. That's what I want to do.
Any takers on what the over/under is? How many shows? Was it next week? Maybe the week after that? That's where you're going to be calling in from.
I might call in from the Alpe d'Huez or from the Stelvio.
We should so put that together. That'd be a podcast trip to Alpe d'Huez. That's actually I've been thinking I'm gonna ruin a surprise on this podcast, but when my dad retires, my gift to him is I want to take him to the tour one year. We're gonna try and follow the tour. We're gonna try and ride and follow the tour. Yeah,
we've got some guys on the team, the Bercampus brothers. They they went out there and they hired a group. I can't remember the name of the group, but anyway, the group takes you through all of the routes.
Oh, it's like the
classic climbs. In the Alps.
It was fully supported, and the cool part about it was all of the boys chipped in, and they took their dad for I think it was his like 50th birthday or something like that.
I need to get in contact with them for that. That would be really cool.
They posted some incredible pictures,
Yes.
and the Alpe d'Huez. They had the podium. And they were all standing on the podium, and they're all wearing Dow kits.
They're all wearing
like
Dow
all
kits
5 of them
on the Alpe d'Huez.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they were getting all kinds of attention out there. People were like taking
cool
pictures with
family.
them. So
Yeah.
it was
That is
fun.
too cool. Hey, Steve, have you done any riding out towards like the classics area, like Belgian French border area?
Yeah, so when I lived there, I lived in Freiburg, which is kind of the south part of Germany, and we did a lot of riding and racing, down there in the south of France and Belgium, and I mean, we kind of traveled everywhere, but we were in and out so much that you never got to really see anything. It was just like you just raced and you went back, and I stayed with Mike Kluge, who is like 4-time world cyclocross champion. He brought me over there to race with him, and there's some. I mean, when you're riding over there and you're just training or racing, and you're like rolling by these ruined castles that have been there for 2,000 years. I mean, 1,000 years, something. It's just it's absolutely amazing. So there's so much that you can take in. I would love to go back there and just spend like a month and do what I did, only not going like 30 miles an hour.
And not have your head just jammed down on your stem and looking up at the
doing your best Froome impression.
Yeah, or freezing cold and whiskey in your bottle so your bottle doesn't freeze up.
That's I mean, some of those climbs get so up there. I mean, they've got. I mean, I know at least when we were in Colorado, like. I was I like that. The guys I was riding with would just make fun. Like, nobody told me the first day. I'm like, it's pretty warm. I'll go in a t-shirt. They're like, yeah, good idea. I'm like, why are you guys wearing jackets? Like, yeah, we're just cold blooded. We get to the top of these climbs. I'm like free. I am dying. I can't even feel my hands. And I mean, did you, Steve, like when you're out there, like are the Alps kind of like that? Like once you get towards the top, very cold. And then once you're bombing down.
Yeah, I never did a lot of the Alps stuff. So I was always kind of always with the kind of the circuit races there. Never did any of the big stage races, or never did any of the. I was just kind of always the sprinter, right? Always so I never did any of that. I rode some of it, but even when I rode, it was like, you'd be going up and you're thinking, okay, you're starting at the bottom. Hey, it's 75 degrees, perfect. And just like you said, you get to the top, and then you have to go down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot colder going down.
Your knuckles get frozen on your brakes. You have a hard time even braking by the time you're like halfway down. So yeah, there is that.
Crazy. How about you, Lance?
I have a significant list of fantastic epic rides that I
can
can roll through.
Brace yourself.
But I don't know if I should
Hold
go
on,
through
I
them
need
all.
to refill my whiskey.
Just this last week, being in Sun Valley, Idaho, there's a couple of rides out there that have just been gloriously fantastic. One was a 60-mile gravel ride I did on my own that climbed up to Galena Pass and back, and it was just on this beautiful gravel trail for 60 miles. It was just great. The funny part about that, the pictures were fantastic. The view, the terrain. I actually spooked a moose on the trail. Yeah. So, I mean, there was some cool stuff out there. On the way back, I was cranking to some music and coming down kind of a not very steep decline, and my front wheel caught some loose gravel, and I just pounded my head right into the road.
Oh no.
I was like, I must have been going like 25 miles an hour.
You have been a bit forgetful today.
Yes.
Are you feeling okay?
Maybe. Well, I just drilled in the road, bent my derailleur hanger again.
Oh, jeez.
But I was able to bend it back and make it home, and I didn't actually hurt myself at all. Which
That was on the cross bike?
That was on the cross bike.
Oh,
yeah.
jeez.
It's a good thing you still got some muscle on you. You're not like a full cycling body right now, or that then never would have come back.
But you know, in Sun Valley as well, the mountain biking in Sun Valley, every time I do the mountain biking there, I just ride with the biggest smile on my face because it is just so grippy and smooth and fast and bank turns, and I just love the mountain bike riding around the Sun Valley area.
Hero dirt there, yeah.
There is just fantastic dirt out there. So those are a couple of great rides there.
So Lance, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
It sounds like you do like a lot of different kind of. What's your favorite?
That
Pick a child, Lance.
Yeah. I don't know if I could answer that.
What's your child's best performance too? While we're at it,
Riding bikes. Riding bikes.
Which is my favorite child?
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Lance, let me just stop you. Just the answer to that question is yes.
Yes. I love riding gravel. I love riding the road. I love riding the mountain bike. So I guess I like all of it.
Gravel's kind of the best of both worlds, though,
Yeah.
right? I mean, so like gravel, you can be so dynamic with that kind of riding.
Yeah.
So
Well, what's beautiful about having multiple bikes like that and being in love with all of them is you never get bored. There's no monotony. You're just like, there's sometimes where I'm on the road bike so much, I'm like, all right, I just don't want to see you for a day or two. But then I look for my mountain bike. I'm like, I'll ride you. Let's go for a ride.
yeah. And then you miss the road bike. So it's a
Yeah,
lot like kids.
so
yeah.
balance it up. Yeah.
And you come from a mountain bike, right, Jake?
Yes, I do. Yep.
I mean, that's where you were like hardcore down in SoCal.
Yeah, that was all I did, and I only started riding road bikes because I wanted to get faster on the mountain bike, and the old road bike turned into my mistress.
Yeah.
So.
Which good mountain bikers make fast, good climbers on road bikes.
They do. I mean, you look back at history. I mean, there's Cadell Evans. You know, a lot of guys come over from cyclocross.
Yeah.
It's definitely you build that strength and handling in those sports.
Peter Sagan has a cyclocross background.
He's a mountain biker, yeah.
Mountain biker.
Yeah.
I think he did.
I remember
he
when
do
you came out
BMX
to our Monster Media camp that we had here, or you came out on a couple of rides that we had. We went down to Savi, and you were like on the front the whole time.
He still does
Slow
that.
down, man. It's like January.
There's
That was awesome, though.
3 other rides I actually wanted to mention.
I
because
want to
I've
hear
got
these.
this
Go.
big list.
Go.
Shoot.
One of my favorite rides of all time is actually riding around Crater Lake. I don't know if anybody else has done that
I have
before.
not done that, but I want to.
It's not very far.
Road trip.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a 35-mile ride, and there's some good climbing in it, but
Sure.
it is just gloriously beautiful.
I'm all
So
for that.
That is a fantastic.
wanting to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is worth it. That's a
Road
very
trip.
good ride.
Yeah.
Another ride I've done, which I thought was quite epic, and there's probably people in this room that have done it. I've done the Swami's ride. If you've heard of that.
Yeah, down in
It's
San Diego.
Down in San Diego.
Yeah.
No, what's the?
Man, that's been going like for 25, 30 years.
Tell this Midwesterner what that is.
It's a Saturday morning group ride, the drop ride,
Oh God.
where it's basically a
You
race.
get dropped, you're lost.
And it might be 80 or 90 or 100 people. So it's all these San Diegan athletes that come out and it just hammerfest. And I was down there last year and I'm like, I'm here in San Diego. It's Saturday. I'm going to go do the Swami's ride. I've heard about it so many times. I'm going to go do it. And yeah, I got dropped by mile 15 or something, and yes, I was lost.
Hey,
in
that's not bad,
Rancho
mile
Santa
15.
Fe.
But didn't you make some friend and he like ended up showing you around or something like that?
Yeah, it's like I caught him to some other straggler, and he just like, hey, let me show you some cool stuff around Rancho Santa Fe, and
Yeah,
he
so
rode
you
me all around.
made a friend.
So that's a pretty
There's
cool
actually
ride.
a pretty good history behind that because Chris Horner used to ride for the Swami's team back when I raced with him.
Yeah.
And that ride has been going on. They have a Wednesday ride too. So if you're ever down there,
Well, that's good.
Wednesday down in Carlsbad area, there's a Starbucks down there that they meet. And they, Thurlow Rogers is there. I mean, there's so many of these
Big
top
names.
guys that
Yeah.
are legends that go on this ride. And it starts off and it's just all the way up through Camp Pendleton and through San Onofre, turns around at San Onofre and comes back. And it's a Wednesday ride. And it's literally just one of the fastest rides you've probably ever been
Right.
on.
This is crazy.
And it's just amazing. I mean, so the Swami's group is so legendary,
Solid.
and a lot of us so SoCal people have grown up with them and the rides and the people that have been engaged in those rides. It's just an amazing group that they put on down there.
Well, the thing was, I thought I was fit, and I'm like, I can do this. Nope. I got dropped. I was straight out the back. On the flat stuff, I had no problems. As soon as it went uphill, I was off.
Hey, that's a great thing about sport. There's always somebody faster than you.
Yeah.
There's always 80 people out there faster than you.
The last ride I wanted to mention, last year I was traveling through Northern Europe, and I was in a little town called Aalborg, Denmark. And it's like out in the middle of the Black Sea kind of, and it is flat. And I was with my wife and my sister and her husband. There were 4 of us, and we were just walking around this town, and it's a gorgeous little old, 500-year-old European town with tiny little streets and whatnot, which was really cool. And I came around the corner, and there was a whole rack of city bikes, right, that you can just rent to go whatever. And I look at my wife, and she looks at me, and she's like, "No, you want to go, don't you?" And I'm like, "Well, you guys are just shopping." Like, I don't want to be shopping. And she's like, "Fine, go."
You're going to miss an important moment, Lance.
So she let me go. So I rent this 30-pound city bike, and I rode like 15 or 20 miles way out into the countryside of Denmark. It was just glorious.
That is awesome.
Like 2 speeds or something?
And then I rode all the way back, and I'm all sweaty, and I'm in my pants, and I will never forget that ride, because it was just in the Danish countryside, in all these farms and cool little towns, and I'm on this 30-pound city bike trying to crush the local KOMs.
I remember that trip too. We did the Where in the World is Lance Hepler, like the little Carmen San Diego thing, or I think that's was we had this little global map, and we were like putting pins all over, like trying to figure out where he was. That was fun. He just disappeared on us.
All right, Jake. That's enough for me.
There was a race that I did that was pretty epic and pretty fun, and it was down in Orange County, California, and it's called Vision Quest, and it was a 56-mile ride, and it was just a hair shy of 12,000 feet of climbing on a mountain bike, and it went all through the Santa Ana mountain range, and it was one of those things where we started at 4:30 in the morning, so it was dark, but like it was kind of neat because like it kind of got strung out a little bit, because I think they closed registration, I think it was like 350 or 400 people. And I was dropping a hammer with some guys, and we were racing up the first long climb. And all the climbs are about anywhere from 6 to 8 or 9 miles long. So there's I think there's 4 or 5 of them.
That's gotta be some steep grades.
Yeah, we're starting to get to the top of the first one, and you look back, and it's nighttime still, and the sun's just starting to change. The sky's starting to get hitting the dawn, but you look back, and there's just this long string of looks like ants, like all the headlamps, which was kind of cool. So it was beautiful. And then right as we crested over the top of this first climb called Black Star, you get this just majestic view of all of the Corona Valley, and you can see the sun coming up, and then you look back and you've got the Orange County, the whole basin out there, and you can see all the way out to Catalina, and it's just spectacular. And then you're riding along the ridge line, and you're going down these long single track trails. And
that Saddleback Mountain that you're talking about?
That is, yes.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. And then you're coming down Motorway, you're going back up Maples, and then you're going down Holy Gem, and there's another climb in there called West Horse Thief, and it's one of those climbs where I think it was 3 miles long. I'll have to double check this, and I think the last 2 miles you literally can't ride up it. It's that steep, so you're pushing your bike up and mind you at this point in time you're about 45 miles into it, and you're doing hike a bike up the side of this mountain.
Cycling cleats for 2 miles.
Yeah. And then
I would have brought my running shoes at that point.
So, and then, but again, you get to the top, and there's just
Nikes.
Yeah. You get to the top, and there's just every time you get to the top of a climb, there's just this massive payoff in terms of the view. And I'll have to post some pictures from some of the recon rides I did, because I wasn't taking pictures during that race for sure. But it was just one of those races that when you're done, you had this sense of accomplishment, and then you've just got all these mental images of the whole race, and it was just it was a fantastic mountain bike race and a fantastic view and course. And it's a great place to train. so that was one of them. Another thing is I just want to like compliment our own backyard.
Yes.
I've lived here for just over 3 years. The gorge has to be one of the most beautiful places in the world that you can go and ride a bicycle. And if you don't know where the Columbia River Gorge is, look it up. It is just absolutely spectacular. So the fact that we get to ride here on a regular basis,
Yes.
Yeah.
during the summertime, if you've never been here before and you're listening to this, put it on your bucket list. It's a destination ride. I mean, you can go out and you get to see all the waterfalls, and you get Multnomah, the Vista House, you got the Bridge of the Gods, and all of the other stuff that shoots off of that. I mean, we've got some pretty fantastic riding in the races that we get to do around here too. It's just like you think of like a race course, but when you're thinking of race, you're thinking race. But you don't think about how freaking beautiful it is out there. So where we're at, we're pretty blessed, and that was one of the big motivating factors for me to want to come up here. But I think everybody who's ridden here, pretty much everybody that we're talking to right now, can attest that the Columbia River Gorge is something spectacular.
The first ride that I wrote down on my list, I wrote down this morning because I rode out to Vista House this morning in the Columbia River Gorge. I think Steve did as well. I just want to note that I beat Steve up every climb today on Strava.
Oh, did you? Oh, you already checked out my Strava.
I had to check out Steve's Strava to see if I outdid him.
I'm also like 30 pounds overweight, so just give me a couple months.
I've never beat Steve at anything else, so I had to say that.
Yeah, Lance is now retired from cycling. Sorry, Steve, you can't match him.
You better keep doing this while he's doing he's doing his Remy 30 and 90. So when he's done with that, you better
I'm in trouble.
Get a few more in.
A whole new goal.
That Vista ride was one of the first ones I did myself, like by myself, when I moved out here before I really got to meet a lot of people last summer. And so I had just come from Colorado, and to tell you the truth, like that ride was on par with the views from Colorado. Like it was incredible. And for me, having been somebody,
was that out to Multnomah Falls?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was
such a beautiful ride.
And I was doing it on like I think it was like the second week of July or something. It was just I mean an incredible 75-degree sunny day. Having I'm coming from rides where it's like in Ohio, it's like, oh, there's some beautiful cornfields out there, and this nice hill. I'm not going to talk down Ohio, by the way, because I do love some rides in Ohio, but they don't quite get the views that the Columbia River Gorge does.
But how nice is it to ride out to Multnomah Falls? You get out there, and you've got this just majestic waterfall. It's just like, it's mind-blowing. But then you stop, and you're like, hey, I'm going to go grab myself an espresso and a little piece of French fudge and just hang out and just like take it all in. It's just, we're spoiled. So
we really are.
We're definitely spoiled.
Yeah.
That ride, I will tell you, I'll give you guys a little insight. That ride from when I left here, and I would go to that ride that was like my go-to training ride, because once you climb up to the Vista House and you go back down, and then it's like just a bunch of like slow rolling whoops until you get to the falls. I used that ride probably once or twice a week when I came back to the sport in 2014, and that's when I did really, really well. Won my first race back, and I used that ride. And that one stretch, I would literally sprint every whoop. Every loop going into, I would just nail it, just drill it. And I did that twice a week for about 3 months. And let me tell you
that ride is just a great workout, just like you were describing, Steve. It really is.
Yeah, I used to kind of have a similar training ride. And Steve, you've probably done this ride before too. Every Saturday down in Orange County, they've got a little shop ride that leaves out of the Rock and Road Cyclery shop in Irvine.
I wouldn't call it small ride.
Well, yeah, it's small. It's quite a few people that show up on this ride. But
we would like the Como Street or
well, there's a couple different rides. Well, the one that I really enjoyed was Canyon Velo on Saturdays. The Como's on Sunday. So Canyon Velo, you've got this like massive just like herd of people. There's probably on a light day 50 people. On heavy days, like it's easily well over 100 people. And they've got all of the hot sections out there, and they just hammer the crap out of this. Every single spot, you're just like dying to hang on. And you just go out and you keep showing up to these rides, and like lo and behold, that's where I cut my teeth on becoming, a little bit faster road racing. But we would get back into
get pros out there sometimes.
Oh yeah. Get back into Silverado Canyon, and then you go climb up, actually it was Santiago Canyon, you climb up Silverado Canyon Road. And that was my jam right there. That's a 6 mile road that goes out. You probably gain over that 6 miles probably about 1,500 feet of elevation gain, but it's all like stair steps. It's all like flat stuff, and then all of a sudden you hammer up this little climb, and then you stair step and you hammer up the climb, and that whole section was always an unofficial race. You know, as soon as you turn the corner, it's on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same thing that you just had with that you were just talking about with being out there at Multnomah Falls. So for people that are looking to develop themselves, you know, from a road racing or just a training perspective, go find a place like that you can fall in love with, because, you know, Multnomah Falls is gorgeous, and it's well set up for going out there and developing your fitness, just like the whole you know, Silverado Canyon Road was for me down in Southern California. So good stuff. You guys already talked about all the stuff over in Europe. We won't talk about that in terms of my bucket list, but there is 2 more things that I'll run through real quick. For all of you mountain bikers out there that have done Leadville, I'm very envious of you, and that is on my bucket list of someday.
Got a buddy who's got that belt buckle.
Yeah,
yeah,
me too. Have to do Leadville.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Yeah, so I'm going to train for that here probably in the next couple of years. I think I want to go out and qualify and do that just to change it up and see what kind of time I can do, because I've ridden at elevation before and it doesn't affect me quite that bad, and I think that I can train up my motor to go out there and have fun and do well.
Got a solid hematocrit.
The guy
You're a monster, man.
The guy I rode with just 3 days ago in Snow Basin, he's done Leadville like 3 times.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we've got this little ride that we're putting together. I've already kind of built the framework for it, and we were talking about doing it this year, but we just don't have the time. I had too many things going on this year, but we're calling it PTSD, not post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah. But sorry, not trying to be insensitive to those that actually have PTSD, but PTSD
he almost
stands
got the
for
abbreviation right. I was wondering if you were going to get that right for a second.
Post-traumatic stress disorder, right?
Yeah, you got it. There you go.
Sorry. I tend to fumble over my words when I get a little excited, because I'm thinking about this ride. I really want to do it. But it's going to be Portland to San Diego, and we want to do it in about 12 days. So I've already started to build out all of the ride segments and the route, and trying to find stuff that's, you know, low volume of traffic with, you know, fun scenic stuff. And I'd like to you know, get a group of guys together. And I was already talking with one of our teammates, Michael Myers, and we were talking about having a charitable tie-in to it and helping people with cancer. And for those of you who don't know Michael, he's an oncologist here in the Portland area, and he's pretty renowned at his craft, and he's actually on our team. And we were talking about doing some stuff for people that are you know, basically terminal. So he's actually got a patient that we want to tie into our first one, and I think unfortunately she has, I think last he told me it was like maybe 4 to 5 years left, and she's a huge cyclist, and she wants to go over to watch the tour. And what we would want to do is put together this PTSD Portland to San Diego, and be able to generate funds so that we can help her and her husband go over to.
That would be fantastic.
So, I'd be all for that.
I'm down for that.
2 birds, 1 stone.
I may die by day 7, but I'll try it. I'll do it.
Well, if we
There's going to be a van you can get
That's
in.
true.
Yeah.
So, will there be a van?
I'll tell you, Jake, Red Truck would want to be a part of that with you. Absolutely.
Maybe Red would want to be our chase truck.
Probably join me on the ride.
Yeah.
As well. And then we could definitely, what we're doing now with Red Truck and the foundations, that a lot of people donate their bikes. If they have bikes sitting in their garage, they donate this, and a lot of the money can go towards that of bringing her over there and watching it. Cool. I mean, that's kind of what we do. So we would love to be part of that with you.
I think we're going to have to talk some more, Steve. I think that's a good idea. So we'll have to tie this all together and see when we can actually make this thing happen. So maybe 2019, who knows? Okay, let's get into our last segment. One last thing. We're going to keep this somewhat quick because we're starting to run a little bit long. Matt, are you still there? Matt?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hey.
We've just been over talking, Matt.
Next week, Matt gets to talk a lot,
Yes.
which will be fun.
Well, okay, so for my last thing, Evan and I are both racing, so both Evan and I will have more to talk about. I mean, for me, it's kind of like triathlon season opener. Evan's raced at least once so far this season, and I've done some other things, but this will be it for our kind of at least getting things rolling for the summer as far as triathlon season goes, and that is next Sunday.
Man, we've
something like that.
Sunday, yeah. We're gonna have to really tell some fun stories for that. Absolutely.
13 years ago at Blue Lake, I took third place.
Oh, I gotta beat that now. Oh crap, I gotta beat that. What was your time?
It was in the sprint. It was only in the sprint.
Oh, okay.
So
we'll double your sprint time, and then
okay.
we'll see if I can top that. That's what we're gonna do. Yeah, we'll
Is
make
there
a
an
game of that.
algorithm for that?
I think there is. Yeah.
Hey, Matt, have you posted any new videos recently?
I posted a video about open water swimming and some open water like drafting. I have that open water swim series that's going to start on June 7th.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to post a couple of videos that are like swimming related, and they all feature like Fall and Leaf Lake, where we talked about the buoys, and where we're going to have this swim series. And so people can
awesome.
go, search the YouTube for that and check it out.
You can actually find that video at Dial Podcast on the Facebook page that we have posted. I posted that up already.
Yeah.
So go check it out, folks. Matt has an eye for cinematography. He is doing a fantastic job. These things, it's a beautiful lake, and he makes it even more beautiful than it is. It's kind of nuts, but good job, Matt.
My goal is to catch up to Lance on photography / cinematography.
Yeah. I have almost 600 followers.
Oh,
on
you
Instagram.
big time.
Yeah,
Oh man,
big deal. What?
coming
My
up to the
17-year-old
1K
daughter
mark.
has like 2,000. So go figure.
Hey,
So
Lance,
I know
I
where
have
I
to
fit.
ask, do you have one of them phone gimbals that you use?
No, no, it's all
Man,
just
I just
handheld.
got one, and I love it. I'm using it for red truck. It's called
good idea.
Smooth. If you haven't seen it, you gotta get it.
The smooth, huh?
Will it fit in my jersey pocket?
SMOVE. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, it's great. Put your phone on it. It's a stabilizer. So we're doing a lot of YouTube channel
Yeah,
for Red
sure.
Truck as well.
Yeah.
So
Good
Yeah,
stuff.
Steve's putting up some
can
pretty
see
cool.
Lance doing that.
Yep, Steve's been putting up some pretty cool content at Red Truck. He's you can see how happy you are, Steve. It's fun watching those videos. It just seems like you're having a good time, man. Which is
compared to like a year ago or 2 years ago,
yeah, exactly.
I was a miserable guy in the cold, and I don't know. Jeez.
Yeah. All right.
Life changes.
One last thing, Evan.
I just excited for next weekend with Blue Lake. It'll be fun. I am gonna have a booth for proactive physical therapy at the race.
Yeah.
So anybody who's got any questions, wants to grab a card, wants to talk before the race, you can just talk the race. You can just come and keep me company because I'm gonna be at the booth before the race. I'm gonna maybe have my wetsuit underneath my proactive polo, so it can be a real quick transition. I'm just gonna throw off the polo
And
just,
go race.
go right over the race. And then I've got a 2-hour window that I got to be done and I got to be back. So I actually cannot flat on the course. So if I flat on the course, somebody better come grab me because there's going to be nobody at the booth then in a little bit. Because I think I've got a little bit of coverage while I'm racing, but that's about it. So.
Yeah.
Is this all set by your coach?
No. This is no. Last year though, my coach Chris Lee will find this fun. So last year I did Midsummer, which is the same course. He gave me right after the race. I had to jump back in the water, do another tempo open water swim, jump out of the water, and then run another 10K tempo. That's who my coach is. He's like, oh yeah, congratulations on the race. Go ahead and get back in the water now. So I'm the weird guy after he's putting the goggles back on and going back in. But
Yeah, no thanks.
It'll be fun this weekend. Me and Matt will have stuff to talk about.
Cool. Steve, how about you? What you got? One last thing.
Well, I just looked at your Strava. I'm going to come get that KOM in about 30 days.
Yes. we'll have an update on that.
Yes.
Oh,
Besides that, I'm just traveling. I'm just spreading the word of Red Truck, trying to sell some gear, tell some great stories for some athletes, and that's about it.
Yeah. So, just real quick, remind us. You're going out to Tulsa. Is that what you said? No, where?
Yeah, Tulsa Tough. If
Okay.
you guys definitely have to check that out. Just Google it.
Cool.
Google it, Tulsa
Tulsa
Tough,
Tough.
and then Google Crybaby Hill. You'll see some great videos on there. It's just amazing. Like I said, this hill is it's a sprint hill. It's kind of like a power. It's about a 30-second hill that it's on a loop, but it is packed full of the locals, and they come out and they dress up in all kinds of things. Everyone's drinking beer. Drinking all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's nuts. It's completely nuts, but it's one of the biggest cycling weekends there is in the United States right now. So it's a very, very huge event. we're meeting some athletes out there. Like I said, a lot of our ambassador athletes that we're working on for 2019. Starla is out there. She rides for the pro spearmint team, and then Lily as well. So yeah, just a lot of big things coming.
Yeah, I'll make sure to post up some of that stuff on the Dialed Podcast Facebook page, and we'll link up the
just
red
watched
truck
a little
too.
video on that Crybaby Hill, Steve. That looks like those
it's
Pittsburgh
insane.
climbs, like the Dirty Dozen climbs. That's what that thing looks like. It looks like a road
Yeah.
that bikes should not be going up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. Lance, one last thing.
This morning on the ride, I rode with the teammate, Mike Guyvan, and he's a really strong climber. And we're riding out to Vista House out in the Columbia River Gorge. And there's a segment there that is a Strava segment that I want to say is 16 or 18 miles long. It goes from the main highway bridge, the 205 bridge, all the way to the top at Vista House. And Mike wanted to go for the KOM. So I told him
Oh, wow.
that I would help lead him out on the flat section, because there's like a 9-mile flat section before the climb starts. And so we kind of warm up a little bit and get down there and start hammering on the flat stretch. And we're doing 27, 28 miles an hour on the flat stretch and feeling pretty good. There was a little bit of a tailwind.
You don't need to say that. That's
It was a tailwind.
There was a tailwind. So we're cruising along. We're like 4 miles into this flat stretch, and I drill a rock in the road and flat it.
So you didn't get the KOM.
We did not get the KOM. We'll have to try another day.
So did he stop with you when you changed the
He
flat?
did, yeah.
Oh, that's a nice teammate right there.
It only took us about 5 or 6 minutes to change the flat.
Yeah.
And we still had like the fastest times all the way up today out of everybody who did that section today, even with the flat.
There should be like a flat option.
That's
you know,
right.
like on Strava, like check box if you had flat.
You get like
in
one
this
mulligan pause on there or something like that.
That's right. Lance, tell me the next time you guys go out there. I live a few miles away. I'll be your first lead out.
All right, that's
There
what
you
we
go.
need.
Got a
yes.
lead out train.
That's good stuff right there.
Jake, what about you?
My one last thing is a week from tonight, from today actually, is short track. The Portland short track starts up. And for those of you who don't know what the Portland short track is, it's just a little race that they do over there at Portland International Raceway. And it's all off-road stuff. So you're pretty much on your mountain bike or a cross bike if you want to take it out there. You can kind of 6 1/2 dozen other that with that. But that's really a good time. And one thing that I really am trying to help them with in terms of just not them, but just the cycling community in general is get more kids out there. They've got a free kids race before all of the other races start. They've got the little kiddies out there on the little scoot bikes. It's so awesome. These little 3 and 4 year old kids just like cruising around with their little helmets on in this little tiny area, and they're doing their thing, and they think it's the best thing ever. But then they've got the actual kids, not the juniors, but the kids. Like, so, 10 and under, we'll call it. They get to do one full lap around the entire race course, which usually is between 1.5 miles and 2 miles long, and it's going over the motocross track. So you've got these big rollers and doubles and triples. I mean, obviously they're just rolling everything. There's like little whoop sections, and then they've got some other stuff built into the course as well, where it's kind of cyclocross centric. Some tight turns and like little log jumps and whatnot.
There's a tree to jump over.
There is, yeah. So I actually just posted a little video up that I stumbled across. I forgot all about it. I forgot that I even filmed it of taking my kids out there for the first race last year, and I just posted that up this morning. And it was just one of those things where they had so much fun, and I played the video for them. I put it up on YouTube, and we were watching it before we had dinner tonight, and they were all getting excited, and they're all ramped up to go out there now. So hoping to get some more other kids out there and get some more kids racing bikes, because we need the future to start growing.
Yes.
It's such a great venue out
Fun
there.
stuff.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's PIR out there, Portland International Raceway, especially that short track.
Uh-huh.
When they incorporate part of the track into the full, the motocross track, like you said, I mean, that's just amazing.
Yeah,
You
it's
don't
cool that
really
we have
find
that.
that in a lot of venues.
No.
So I think that's just, I don't do that. I really want to go, being a kid where I grew up in BMX, that's where I started.
Yeah. Steve, this course would really play to your strengths. I mean, you get you get a little bit of that crit sensation in terms of just like the way that it utilizes your energy systems, and it's so much fun. You get out there and you're done. You stop and you're gassed because you're on it for like 30 minutes or so, but you can't wipe the smile off your face. You're like, holy crap, that was so fun. May I have some more, please? So, and it's a great family atmosphere. It's a great atmosphere for camaraderie, and you've got all the different teams out there.
Do you ride a mountain bike or do you ride a cross bike? Because some people ride. I see some people ride.
You can pick either.
Pick your weapon. Yeah. I personally rode a mountain bike.
What are you going to be doing?
I'll be on a mountain bike this year. I might take a cross bike out towards the end of the season. It's an 8-week season, so I might take a cross bike out there just to kind of play around with some bike handling stuff for the pending cross season coming up. But
I rode a cross bike on it. I found myself a little bit quicker. You just had to be able to bunny hop the tree with the cross bike.
Right. Yeah, it's just like a little 8-inch stump. It's not a big deal. So log thing coming across this trail. So that's kind of cool. And one last ask of just people in general. I don't care where you're listening. If you're in Norway or the Czech Republic, or you're somewhere in the Midwest, one of Evan's friends in Ohio, it's summertime. Out there. It's summertime coming up, and there's kids out there. They need stuff to do. Let's go to battle with the big sports. Let's go to battle with football, baseball, basketball, soccer, and let's put cycling on the map. Take your kids to a camp. Take them to a workshop. Take them to a clinic. They will have so much fun. Take your kids out to local racing. Local racing wants and supports juniors. They do it really well here in the Portland area, and there are races for kids out there starting at about race age 10. So and the Portland International Raceway is a little bit different, the PR racing that we do over there, where they've got the little kiddie thing. But get your kids out there and get them start racing, and let them know that this is something that they can go do. You don't have to put them into one of those little containers of one of the big sports. Try something else. It's a good thing, and it's something that they can do for the rest of their lives. So that's my one last thing.
Like it.
I like that. That's a good note to end on. Solid.
So, as we wrap things up here, Steve, I wanted to thank you one more time for coming on, man. It was a great chatting with you.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
So, look Steve up, redtruck.com. And what's your Instagram handle, Steve, for Red Truck?
Remy's Face.
Remy's Face? Is that the official?
All my friends call me Remy, so it's Remy's Face.
Okay. Is there is there an Instagram account for Red Truck as well?
I believe it's red.truck.
Red.truck.
So, we're starting to do a lot of, I'm going to be doing a lot of YouTube. We've got a new YouTube channel that we're starting. We're going to be interviewing a lot of top athletes, but Red Truck is for anyone that wants to sell some good quality used gear.
Yep.
Give a little bit back to a foundation or charity that they love.
Yep.
And also know that it's going that whatever you're selling is giving new life to someone else.
Yep. Giving it a good new home. So appreciate
Absolutely.
that. That's some good stuff right there. So I will post all of that stuff, or one of us will post all that stuff up on the Dial Podcast Facebook page, and you guys can check that there. You guys can also go and look at the few pictures that we have up on Instagram. We're going to start being a little bit more diligent about that. The boys are going to help me out with that.
Race season's coming around, so we'll have some good pictures.
So but check out our social stuff. You can always email us as well at info@dialedpodcast.com, or any one of us, Matt, Jake, Evan, Lance @dialedpodcast.com. Just pick our first name @dialedpodcast and shoot us an email. We want to hear what your thoughts are. If you guys have some suggestions or comments or feedback, or tell us that we're great or that we suck, we don't care. We want to hear it all. We'd really appreciate that. All right, boys, I think that's a wrap. Matt, you still there, bud?
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming on.
Miss you, Matt.
We miss you, Matt.
Yeah.
It's probably getting kind of late. Getting kind of late there. It's probably past your bedtime, buddy. We miss you, so we'll let you get to sleep.
It is, and I'm going to bike early tomorrow, so good night.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay, guys. Again, thank you one last time. Listeners, thank you for coming out. Bye for now.